Greetings, and welcome to Peaceful Place, your hidden haven for holistic wellness. This is a space where empowering practices and deep self-connection form the foundation of your path to wellness. Here, we focus on creating space for rituals that don't just elevate your day, but transform the way you move through life, helping you feel more aligned, grounded, and at ease. You know that little voice inside? The one that nudges you, that whispers truths before your mind even catches up? That's what today's adventure is all about. We're jumping into something that's been honored by ancient traditions for centuries: intuition. But not as some mystical force outside of us, as something real, something we all have, something we can strengthen. So take a deep breath, settle in, and let's begin.
Close your eyes for just a moment and listen, not to my words, but to something deeper, a whisper beneath the noise, a knowing that has always been with you. Have you ever felt a pull, a nudge, something beyond logic? A quiet voice inside that knows before your mind catches up? Perhaps you've had a moment when your heart whispered, "Turn here," or "Say yes," or "Not this way." And when you followed, the path unfolded in perfect harmony. This is your intuition, your inner wisdom. And what if I told you it could be strengthened, refined, and trusted, just like a muscle? Throughout time, sages, mystics, and healers have spoken of this innate intelligence. In Ayurveda, it is called pragya, deep inner knowing. In Taoist traditions, it is the way of effortless action, flowing with the currents of life rather than against them. And in indigenous wisdom, it is listening to the language of the earth, the body, and the unseen realms. But in our modern world, we have forgotten how to listen. We have drowned out the sacred voice within us with noise, busyness, and overthinking. Yet the wisdom remains waiting. Today we return to this wisdom. In this adventure together, we will explore how to quiet the mind and hear the whispers of the soul. We will unlock practices, journaling, meditation, and nature connection that will awaken your intuitive knowing. And by the end of our time together, you will have the tools to walk through life not just with logic, but with deep trust in your own inner guidance. The answers you seek are already within you. Let us begin. Intuition is not magic, though to those who do not understand it, it may seem that way. It is not some rare gift reserved for mystics or sages meditating in hidden temples. No, my friend, intuition is your birthright. It is woven into the very fabric of your being, whispering through your breath, your heartbeat, the quiet pull in your chest when something feels right or wrong. It speaks in ways beyond words, a gentle nudge, a feeling of peace, a tightening in your belly, a knowing that has no logical explanation, yet proves itself again and again. Have you ever ignored your intuition, only to later say, "I knew I should have listened"? We all have. This is because intuition is not an abstract concept. It is a sense. Just as you have sight, touch, hearing, and taste, you have knowing, a direct perception of truth that bypasses the thinking mind. But how does it work? Where does this guidance come from? And most importantly, how can we strengthen it? Before we jump all the way into how, let's explore why it exists in the first place. Long before modern science gave names to neurotransmitters and gut bacteria, ancient wisdom keepers understood something profound. The body is intelligent. The body knows. In Ayurveda, this knowing is called pragya, a deep inner awareness that arises when we are in balance. It is the wisdom that tells a bird when to migrate, a tree when to bloom, and our bodies when to heal. When we are aligned, when we are still enough to listen, this wisdom flows effortlessly through us. In traditional Chinese medicine, intuition is linked to the Shen, the heart-mind. It is not separate from thought, but an integrated way of perceiving reality beyond logic. When the heart is clear, the path becomes clear. And across indigenous traditions, intuition is not merely an internal sense, it is relational. It is listening to the land, the wind, the movements of animals, the subtle shifts in energy. The world itself is alive, always whispering guidance. The only question is, are we still enough to hear it? And yet, in the modern world, we often ignore this wisdom. We override the whispers, rationalize away our instincts, and lean entirely on logic until we find ourselves stuck, overwhelmed, disconnected. But if we listen, truly listen, the body speaks. So let's listen. Now, let's talk about the gut. You might have heard the phrase, trust your gut, but did you know there's real science behind it? Your gut is lined with over 100 million neurons, sometimes called your second brain. It constantly gathers information, picking up on subtle cues before your conscious mind is even aware of them. It does not think in words, it feels in signals. Ever walked into a room and felt the energy shift before anyone spoke? Or met someone new and sensed immediately whether you could trust them? That's not just coincidence. Your body is processing signals far faster than your thinking brain can catch up. So when you say, I have a gut feeling, what's really happening? Your body has already picked up the pattern, the energy, the truth, and is sending you a message. The question is, are you listening? And then there's the subconscious mind, the part of you that never sleeps, never stops gathering information. It takes in millions of details every day, the tone of a voice, the flicker of an expression, the way the wind shifts just before a storm. It notices everything, and yet we often dismiss what it tells us because we can't explain it logically. We forget that logic is only one piece of the puzzle. Imagine you're walking through the forest. You hear a sound, soft, distant. Your body tenses. Something in you says, go the other way. But your mind argues, I don't see anything. There's no danger. If you ignore the instinct, you might later discover that just beyond the path, a fallen branch was waiting to trip you. But if you listen, you move through life with ease, avoiding obstacles before they arise. This is the gift of intuition. It moves faster than logic. It protects, it guides, it aligns you with the flow of life. And now, here's where ancient wisdom and modern science shake hands. Neuroscientists have studied intuition in decision-making, and guess what they found? People who regularly practice meditation, mindfulness, or deep self-reflection are more intuitive. Why? Because these practices quiet the mind, making it easier to hear the signals already coming through. Mindfulness trains you to notice subtle shifts, both within yourself and in the world around you. Meditation strengthens the connection between your conscious and subconscious mind, helping you receive insights with clarity. And journaling? It allows you to bring what's hidden beneath the surface into the light of awareness. The more we engage in these practices, the clearer our intuition becomes. And when we start to trust it, our lives begin to flow with greater ease. So you see, intuition is not some mystical force outside of you. It is you. It is your body, your mind, your soul working together in perfect harmony. The more you listen, the clearer it becomes. The more you trust, the stronger it grows. And in just a moment, I'll show you how to cultivate this wisdom in your daily life. Are you ready to remember what you already know? Now that we understand intuition, what it is, how it works, and why it exists, the next step is learning to strengthen it. Like a muscle, intuition becomes stronger the more we use it. The more we listen, the clearer it becomes. And the more we trust it, the more naturally it guides us through life. So how do we practice listening to our intuition? Through stillness, through awareness, through connection. And today, I will guide you through 3 techniques that will help you awaken and deepen this inner wisdom: journaling, meditation, and connecting with nature. 1. Journaling for clarity. The mind is filled with noise, thoughts, emotions, distractions. Journaling is one of the simplest ways to cut through the noise and hear the truth beneath it all. But this is not the kind of journaling where you list your day's events. No, this is deeper. This is intuitive journaling, a practice of asking, releasing, and receiving. Imagine sitting with a trusted guide, someone who knows you better than you know yourself, someone who always sees the bigger picture. That guide is your intuition, and when you journal, you are allowing that voice to speak. Free writing exercise. One of the most powerful ways to tap into your intuition through journaling is free writing. Here's how it works. Find a quiet place free from distractions. Take a deep breath, place your pen on the page, and ask yourself a question. Then simply write. Let your hand move without overthinking. Allow the words to flow. Even if they make no sense at first, keep writing. It may feel strange at first, but as you continue, something shifts. The mind quiets, and the deeper knowing begins to emerge. Guided prompts. If free writing feels overwhelming, start with a simple question. Here are a few to guide you. What do I truly need right now? How can I honor my body and mind today? What is my intuition telling me about a current situation? Write the question at the top of the page. Take a breath and allow the answer to come through you. Don't force it, just listen. In time, you'll begin to notice patterns. Certain messages will repeat. The voice of your intuition will grow louder, more confident, and eventually, you won't need the pen at all. You'll simply know. 2. Meditation and breathwork. If journaling helps us express our intuition, meditation helps us hear it. Intuition does not shout, it does not demand, it whispers. And to hear a whisper, we must be silent. Meditation creates space for intuition to rise to the surface. When the mind is quiet, clarity emerges effortlessly. And the best part, you don't need to sit in meditation for hours. Just a few minutes of stillness each day can transform the way you hear and trust your inner guidance. Simple guided meditation for tuning into your inner voice. Let's try something together. Close your eyes for a moment and take a deep breath in. Now, place one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly. Feel your breath move through your body. Notice the rise and fall. Let go of the outside world. Let go of the thoughts. Just be here. Now silently ask yourself, what do I need to hear right now? Don't force an answer. Just listen. When you're ready, take another deep breath and gently open your eyes. Whatever came through, whether a word, an image, or just a feeling, trust that it is exactly what you needed in this moment. Solar lunar breath, balancing intuition and logic. Now, if meditation is the stillness that allows intuition to speak, breathwork is the bridge that connects the intuitive and logical mind. And one of the most powerful breathing techniques for this is the solar lunar breath. In many ancient traditions, the right nostril is associated with the sun, logic, structure, action. The left nostril is associated with the moon, intuition, creativity, inner wisdom. By alternating our breath between these two nostrils, we create balance between thinking and knowing. How to practice solar lunar breath. Sit comfortably and bring your right hand up to your nose. Close your right nostril with your thumb and inhale slowly through your left nostril. Close the left nostril with your ring finger. Open the right nostril and exhale through the right. Inhale through the right nostril, then switch and exhale through the left. Repeat for a few cycles, noticing the shift in awareness. With each breath, you are harmonizing both aspects of yourself, the mind that analyzes and the heart that knows. 3. Connecting with nature. Finally, one of the easiest yet most profound ways to deepen intuition is to return to the greatest teacher of all, nature. Nature is always in tune. It does not question. The river does not hesitate before flowing. The tree does not doubt when it is time to shed its leaves. Nature moves with wisdom, and when we immerse ourselves in it, we reconnect with that wisdom within us. Practices for connecting with nature. Barefoot grounding. Walk barefoot on the earth. Feel the energy beneath your feet. Let it remind you that you are always supported. Tree meditation. Sit beneath a tree. Feel its roots anchoring deep into the ground, its branches stretching toward the sky. Let yourself be both grounded and expansive. Water reflection. Sit near a river, lake, or even a bowl of water. Watch how it moves effortlessly, without force. Ask yourself, where am I resisting flow in my life? And listen. When we slow down, when we reconnect with the rhythms of the earth, we remember that we too are part of this great unfolding. And suddenly, the answers we seek become clear. Your intuition is always with you. It is not something you must search for. It is something you must remember. Through journaling, meditation, breathwork, and nature, you will begin to hear the voice that has been guiding you all along. And in the next section, we will explore how to take this wisdom and weave it into your daily life. Now that we've explored techniques for tapping into your intuition, the next step is learning to live in alignment with it every single day. Because intuition isn't just something you access in moments of deep meditation or journaling. It is meant to guide you through life, through choices, through challenges, through the simple, quiet moments that shape your journey. And just like any skill, the more you practice tuning in, the stronger it becomes. So today, I want to share with you a simple daily practice, an intuition ritual that will help you sharpen your inner guidance, trust yourself more deeply, and walk through the world with clarity and confidence. Developing an intuition ritual. 1. Start your day with an intuitive check-in. Each morning, before reaching for your phone, before engaging with the outside world, take a moment to check in with yourself. Ask, what does my body feel today? What emotions are present? What energy am I carrying? And most importantly, what do I need? This can be as simple as placing your hand over your heart, taking a few deep breaths, and listening. Some days, your intuition may whisper, you need rest today. Other days it may say, move, create, expand. The key is to listen before your logical mind takes over. This check-in takes less than a minute, but the impact is profound. It sets the tone for your day, allowing you to move in alignment with what your soul truly needs. 2. Set intentions and listen to inner guidance before making decisions. Throughout the day, as choices arise, big or small, pause. Instead of rushing to make a decision with your rational mind, take a breath and ask, what feels aligned? Listen to the subtle response within. For example, before accepting an invitation, pause and check in. Does this feel expansive or does it feel heavy? When considering a new opportunity, ask, is this a yes from my soul or am I forcing it? This practice of listening before acting will help you move through life with greater ease and trust, in your inner wisdom. 3. Keep an intuition log to track insights and confirmations. One of the best ways to strengthen your trust in intuition is to track it. When you receive a gut feeling, a sudden knowing, or a synchronicity, write it down. And later, when that intuitive hit proves true, record the outcome. Over time, this log becomes undeniable proof of your intuition's accuracy. It reminds you, you are always being guided. If you've ever thought, I don't know if I can trust my intuition, this practice will change that. Seeing these moments on paper will reinforce your confidence. It will show you that your intuition is real, that it speaks clearly, and that it can be trusted. Throughout history, countless individuals, not just famous figures, but everyday people, have had their lives shaped by intuition. Some listened and found themselves exactly where they were meant to be. Others ignored their inner knowing and learned valuable lessons. Let's explore a few more stories, people whose lives took extraordinary turns simply because they trusted the voice within. Derek Amato, the musician who never played before. Derek Amato's story is one of the most fascinating cases of intuitive transformation. One day, after suffering a concussion from a swimming pool accident, he woke up with an overwhelming, undeniable urge to play the piano. The strange part, he had never played before. Yet, when he sat down at the keys, music flowed through him effortlessly, as if he had always known how. Doctors call this acquired savant syndrome, but what if it's something more? What if the trauma simply unlocked a deeper knowing, one that had always been inside of him? Instead of questioning it, Derek embraced it. He trusted the gift that intuition had awakened, and today he is a professional musician, traveling the world and sharing his music. His story reminds us that sometimes intuition doesn't whisper, it erupts. And when it does, we have a choice, to doubt it or to surrender to it. Tori Murden McClure, the first woman to row across the Atlantic. Tori Murden McClure had a deep, unshakable knowing that she was meant to do something impossible. In 1999, she became the first woman to row across the Atlantic Ocean alone, a journey of over 3,000 miles. There were no guarantees of survival. She faced hurricane-force winds, rogue waves, and total isolation. But something inside her said, "You are meant for this," and she listened. At one point in her journey, she was thrown from her boat during a violent storm. She could have turned back. She could have given up, but she didn't. Her intuition told her to continue, to trust, and that trust carried her to shore. After completing her journey, she said, "I learned that the fight is not out there in the world, it's inside us. And when we stop fighting ourselves, we discover what we're truly capable of." Her intuition led her to break records, yes, but more importantly, it led her to herself. Tori's story teaches us that intuition is not always about safety. Sometimes it calls us to something bigger, something that requires courage, faith, and a willingness to surrender to the unknown. Dr. Judith Orloff, the psychiatrist who embraced intuition in medicine. Dr. Judith Orloff had spent years training in Western medicine where logic, science, and empirical data ruled. But something in her resisted the idea that healing was only about facts and prescriptions. She had always felt things others didn't, sensations, emotions, unspoken energies. At first, she ignored it, believing it had no place in her profession. But the more she worked with patients, the more she realized that their bodies and minds often knew the answers long before any diagnosis. She started listening to her intuition during sessions, not just the words her patients spoke, but the energy they carried, the things left unsaid. And when she trusted that, she saw transformations she couldn't explain. Today, she is one of the leading voices in intuitive healing, a blend of science and inner wisdom. She teaches doctors, therapists, and everyday people how to trust their bodies and emotions in the healing process. Her work proves that intuition is not in opposition to logic. It is a missing piece in our understanding of health, decision-making, and the human experience. Her story reminds us that intuition is not just for mystics and artists. It belongs in every field, every life. It is a form of intelligence we are only beginning to understand. Now, I invite you to reflect on your own life. Have you ever had a moment where your intuition spoke clearly? Perhaps a time when you knew something before you had proof? Or a time when you ignored your gut feeling and later wished you had listened? If so, write it down. Remember it, because every time you honor your intuition, you strengthen it. And every time you reflect on how it has guided you in the past, you build trust in it for the future. Your intuition is like a compass, one that is always pointing you toward your highest good. The more you practice tuning in, the clearer it becomes. Through daily check-ins, mindful decision-making, journaling, and reflecting on real-life examples, you begin to strengthen this connection. You begin to trust yourself in a way you never have before. Because the truth is, you already have the answers. You always have. The key is simply remembering how to listen. As we come to the end of our journey together, I want you to pause for a moment and take a breath. Now, bring your awareness inward. Reflect on everything we've explored today. What stood out to you? What resonated deep within your soul? Perhaps it was a realization, a subtle shift, a feeling of knowing that you can't quite explain. That, my friend, is your intuition speaking to you. Throughout this journey, we've uncovered something powerful, something that has always been within you. Your body and mind hold deep wisdom. Learning to listen is a skill that can be cultivated. Journaling, meditation, and nature are powerful tools, each one offering a way to quiet the noise and hear the voice of your intuition. A daily check-in keeps you aligned with your highest self, allowing you to move through life with greater clarity, ease, and trust. The more you practice, the stronger your intuition becomes. The more you trust it, the louder it speaks. And soon, you'll find that you no longer have to search for answers. They will rise naturally, effortlessly from within. Your intuition is your greatest guide. It is the map your soul has given you, the compass that always points you home. The more you trust it, the louder it speaks. It has always been there. It will always be there. And now, it's time to listen. Now I'd love to hear from you. Take a moment to try one of today's techniques, maybe a journaling prompt, a meditation, or simply sitting in stillness. Then, share in the comments. What insight did you receive? Did something unexpected come through? Did you feel a sense of knowing, even in the smallest way? Your experience may inspire someone else to trust their own inner voice. And if this journey has resonated with you, I invite you to continue it. Like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear this message, and subscribe for more wisdom on mindfulness, self-discovery, and holistic well-being. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening, not just to me, but to yourself. Until next time, trust the whispers. They are guiding you home. They are.